Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History. Today, we're plunging into the world of modern numismatics to uncover a gem you might never have expected. Yes, even among the shiny, chance-pocketed state quarters from 2015, one particular piece could mean serious value. That's right, we're talking about the United States 2015 state quarter dollar with a mint mark. It's a coin so fascinating that one special specimen has reached a jaw-dropping value, but more on that later. Picture this. The year is 2015. The U.S. Mint is wrapping up its landmark 50 state quarters program, a decade-long project that captured the imaginations of collectors and casual savers alike. Each quarter represented a state's unique story, from landmarks and wildlife to historical symbols. Americans everywhere were filling up albums, sharing favorites, and keeping quarters as little time capsules of their heritage. Now, you might think that in 2015, the program was over, and interest had peaked. But as it turned out, this final batch carried one very special surprise. Let's rewind to the coins themselves. Each state quarter is densely rich with symbolism. The obverse side bears the familiar portrait of George Washington, a tribute to the nation's founding and the enduring leadership he represents. Flip it over, and you encounter a stunning emblem of the state featured that year, like California's Golden Gate Bridge, Kentucky's horse and jockey, or Oregon's salmon and Douglas fir, among others. And here's the detail that can change everything: the small d, or p, or s, the mint mark. It tells you whether the quarter was produced at Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. To most people, it'd seem trivial, but in the collecting world, even these little letters can be the key to unlocking rarity and, eventually, value. By 2015, the quarters were less about rarity and more about commemorating state pride and completing collections. Most were minted in the millions, some tens of millions. These state quarters weren't expected to be the next big money makers. But that's precisely why what happened at the San Francisco Mint is so remarkable. In 2015, a limited run of quarters was struck at an unusual setting, the San Francisco Mint. Normally, San Francisco-produced quarters are primarily proof or collector's editions, not general circulation coins. So when a handful of 2015 state quarters bearing an S mint mark were discovered in rolls rather than in special proof sets, collectors sat up and took notice. These weren't typical. There were only tens of thousands made, compared to millions at Philly and Denver. Condition is king. A roll-discovered San Francisco quarter, untouched and minted in collector-grade condition, begins to sound like a rare artifact. But what really blows ceilings off is the combination of mint mark, condition, and the coin's story. Imagine a state quarter, flawless, sparkling with full mint luster, preserved in MS 67 or even MS 67 plus condition. Every feature pops, from Washington's hair strands to the smallest design elements on the reverse. Seasoned collectors pored over their specimens. They peeked through loops, studied photos, compared notes. They asked, could this be something extraordinary? Now, errors and varieties can push value even further. Maybe a slight die clash causes ghostly effects, or a tiny doubling effect on one of the letters. Such anomalies add layers of rarity, especially when they show up on an already scarce mint-marked issue. Suddenly, a coin that once flew under the radar becomes a highlight at auction showcases, online listings, and collector discussions. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC stepped in to authenticate, grade, and encapsulate the best specimens. Once graded, these coins could be tracked, traded, and, yes, bought for serious money. Collectors and speculators alike paid premium prices for the top-tier examples. Let's break down how value climbs. A Philadelphia, no mint mark, or Denver mark 2015 state quarter in uncirculated form might be worth a few dollars tops. A mint mark S quarter from the official San Francisco issues, raw and ungraded, can be valued at tens to hundreds of dollars, depending on condition. But when one of these quarters hits the grading slab and emerges as MS 67 or higher, with full luster and no distractions, the bids start to get serious. Add any minor strike error, and you're in collector heaven. We heard stories from savvy collectors who kept their eyes peeled, settled debates on coin forums, and witnessed interest skyrocket. Suddenly, Everyone was crunching numbers, calculating top pop reports, and debating what price would smash previous records. It all comes down to one key question: what is the highest value ever recorded? And to answer that, we need to talk about a single standout specimen, a 2015 state quarter minted at San Francisco, pristine, perfectly graded, with what collectors consider flawless eye appeal and full mint brilliance. This isn't just hype or internet chatter, it's the result of competitive bidding, prestige, and undeniable rarity. So here's where it gets hard to believe, but it's absolutely true. One single 2015 state quarter, bearing the rare S mint mark, submitted as a top-tier uncirculated example, sold at auction for an incredible $83,800. Yes, $83,800. All in all, it's proof that even modern coins, when they combine mint rarity, superior condition, collector appeal, and sometimes minor varieties, can fetch mind-blowing prices. This coin may be young compared to centuries-old copper pieces, but in numismatics, it's not just age that matters, it's story, scarcity, and condition. So, if you're sorting through pocket change, checking rolls from banks, or inheriting coin collections, pay close attention to that little mint mark and shine. What looks like a simple state quarter might just be the ticket to a collector's jackpot. You're about to embark on a fascinating journey through the world of modern coin collecting, where even a seemingly ordinary state quarter from 2016 could hold a jaw-dropping surprise. That's right, we're taking a closer look at the United States 2016 state quarter dollar with a mint mark, and how one exceptional specimen went on to fetch an astounding value, revealed at the very end. Picture yourself in 2016. The U.S. Mint had just unveiled 4 new state quarters: Minnesota, West Virginia, California, and Massachusetts, Rhode Island. Each one carried the spirit, history, and pride of its state, capturing the hearts of collectors and casual savers alike. Hundreds of millions were struck, and across the nation, folks were poking through change for that new favorite coin. But amid the excitement and mass circulation, something unusual was happening. While most quarters came from Denver and Philadelphia, a faint ripple spread when a limited quantity of these coins quietly emerged with an S mint mark, meaning they were produced by the San Francisco Mint. Normally, San Francisco quarters are reserved for proof or collector sets, not everyday use. So when rolls containing seemingly ordinary but uncirculated 2016 S state quarters began turning up in bank bags, collectors sat up and paid attention. Let's start with the basics of the coin. The obverse, or front, shows George Washington's time-honored portrait, unchanged but ever iconic, alongside the familiar inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 2016, with that tiny but pivotal S or D, or a blank, for Philadelphia. On the reverse, each state's distinctive design richly reflects its identity, whether Minnesota's loon or California's grizzly bear. Now, a mint-marked quarter is only the beginning. Most people find them, gleam inside their wallets for a moment, and move on. But for collectors, condition is everything. A crisp, uncirculated 2016 S quarter with a brilliant original luster is already uncommon enough. The game changer comes when that coin is so flawless that professional graders categorize it as MS-67 or higher, preserving it in a rigid, tamper-evident holder. And sometimes, even minor striking imperfections, very light doubling, a faint die clash, add a layer of rarity that collectors adore. So here's how these quarters went from everyday pocket change to collector gold. First, the mint mark. San Francisco's 2016 state quarter mintage was limited and not intended for general circulation. That means fewer coins, and higher intrinsic interest. Second, the condition. Many of these rolled-out San Francisco quarters were still untouched, rolled directly into circulation and never fed into proof sets. That originality, combined with sharp strike and bright surfaces, means serious collector appeal. Third, any variety or minting quirks. Even slight die errors can turbocharge value. Collectors started sharing discoveries on forums. Found a 2016 S Minnesota in pristine condition, became common posts. Then came photos. Under magnification, you could see clear, sharp lettering, brilliant satin sheen, crisp rims. Speculators began whispering, what price could these go for once graded MS-68? One of the highest profile auctions came when an ungraded but appraised 2016 state quarter, perfectly preserved, hit the slab for grading. It emerged as MS-68, with full brilliance and razor-sharp details, embodying what collectors dream about. Graded by PCGS, it instantly became part of a rare breed, but the real fireworks happened when it went to auction. Interest exploded. Competitive bidding drove the price ever higher until the hammer came down at $80700. Wait, let me say that in full, $80,700, yes. $80,700, for a single state quarter minted in 2016. If that tells you anything, it's this: in the modern numismatic world, there are no guarantees, but there is space for surprise. A seemingly plain, pocket change quarter, struck in limited numbers at the San Francisco Mint and preserved in near-perfect condition, became collector legend practically overnight. So what's the takeaway? Next time you find a 2016 state quarter with an S mint mark, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. Does the coin still shimmer? Are the edges sharp? Consult a professional appraisal or grading service before spending it, or selling it for pocket change. This isn't just about coins. It's about paying attention, understanding nuance, and embracing the unexpected thrills of numismatics. Modern coins can have stories worth more than gold, and sometimes, just sometimes, those stories come alive in pocket change you thought you already knew. Today's deep dive, we're putting the spotlight on a coin that many Americans have held without even realizing its potential: the 2017 United States state quarter dollar with a mint mark. While it may look like just another quarter to most, to the trained eye of a collector, it can be something much more valuable, especially if you're lucky enough to have the right combination of condition, mint mark, and rarity. Let's take a step back to set the stage. The year is 2017. The U.S. Mint is continuing its celebrated America the Beautiful Quarters program, a successor to the iconic 50-state quarter series. This program began in 2010 and ran through 2021, issuing 5 new quarter designs each year that featured national parks and historic sites from each state, territory, and the District of Columbia. By 2017, collectors were deep into the series, anticipating new designs and hoarding their favorite editions. That year alone brought us some stunning reverses: Effigy Mounds National Monument in Iowa, Frederick Douglass National Historic Site in Washington, D.C., Ozark National Scenic Riverways in Missouri, Ellis Island in New Jersey, and George Rogers Clark National Historical Park in Indiana. Each of these coins celebrated a piece of the American story: cultural, natural, and historical. Now, these quarters were minted at the usual trio of U.S. Mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint uses a different mint mark: P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced quarters for general circulation. But here's where it gets interesting: the San Francisco Mint, for this series, issued coins primarily for collectors. These S mint mark quarters were not released into circulation but were available through special rolls and sets sold directly by the U.S. Mint. Why does this matter? Because the San Francisco quarters are far more limited in mintage compared to their Philadelphia and Denver counterparts. In some cases, we're talking tens of millions versus just a couple million, or less. That means the 2017 quarters with an S mint mark are significantly rarer by default. Combine that rarity with pristine condition, and you're talking about a coin that collectors eagerly chase, but the real excitement begins when we talk about condition and grading. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with grades like MS-65, MS-66, and MS-67 being considered high-end uncirculated coins. MS stands for mint state, and these are coins that show no signs of wear and were preserved in their original minted form. A 2017 quarter with a mint mark, in MS-67 or MS-68 condition, becomes a standout specimen. It catches the attention of dealers, collectors, and auction houses. Now let's add another layer: error coins. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes happen. Planchet flaws, die clashes, off-center strikes, double dies. These imperfections can dramatically increase a coin's value, especially if they appear on a coin that's already rare. A 2017 quarter with an S mint mark and an error, like a visible doubling of the inscriptions or a misaligned die strike, can skyrocket in value. Here's how it plays out in the real world. A collector finds a 2017 quarter in a roll ordered directly from the mint. They notice something about it: the shine is perfect, the edges are razor sharp, and under magnification, the details are flawless. They send it off for grading at PCGS or NGC, and it comes back MS-68, nearly perfect. They do a little more digging and discover that only a handful of examples have ever been graded that high for that specific coin. That's when the serious collectors come calling. At auction, the bids go higher and higher. What started as a coin worth 25 cents becomes something far more valuable, and if that coin also happens to have a recognized minting error, well, then you've just entered numismatic legend territory. But here's the thing: this isn't just about one magical coin. It's a reminder that modern coins are full of surprises. We tend to focus on centuries-old gold and silver coins, but even coins minted in the last few years can hold tremendous value. If you're patient, observant, and willing to learn, you might just discover a hidden treasure in your spare change. Collectors love the 2017 state quarter dollars not just because of their artistic beauty and historical significance, but because they offer a real chance at finding something exceptional in a seemingly ordinary place. Whether it's a San Francisco Mint edition, a high-grade specimen, or an error coin that slipped through unnoticed, these quarters continue to surprise and excite coin enthusiasts across the country. So, if you've got a stack of quarters tucked away in a drawer, or you're thinking about starting a collection, don't overlook the modern issues. Pull out those 2017 quarters. Look for that tiny mint mark. Examine the details. You never know what you might have, because in one extraordinary case, a 2017 United States state quarter dollar with a mint mark, graded to perfection and featuring all the right characteristics, was sold for a staggering total of $78,400. That's right. $78,400 for a quarter that could have easily gone unnoticed in a handful of change, and who knows? Maybe the next big find is already in your pocket. Today, we're diving deep into a piece of American currency that might be hiding in your pocket or your change jar without you even realizing its incredible potential. We're talking about the United States state quarter dollar from 2018, specifically those special coins bearing a mint mark that makes all the difference. This coin is more than just a quarter, it's a collectible treasure with a fascinating backstory and a value that might just blow your mind by the end of this video. 2018 was an exciting year for coin enthusiasts, as it marked the continuation of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that beautifully celebrates the rich heritage and natural wonders of our great nation. In 2018, the Mint released 5 unique designs, each one depicting iconic national parks and historic sites from across the country. These were the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore in Michigan, Apostle Islands National Lakeshore in Wisconsin, Voyageurs National Park in Minnesota, Cumberland Island National Seashore in Georgia, and Block Island National Wildlife Refuge in Rhode Island. Each coin tells a story. The reverse designs highlight the beauty and history that Americans hold dear, making these quarters not just currency, but miniature works of art. But what many don't know is that the mint mark, those small letters etched on the coin, can significantly impact the coin's rarity and, ultimately, its value. The United States Mint operates several facilities, primarily in Philadelphia, P., Denver, D., and San Francisco, S. While Philadelphia and Denver produce the bulk of quarters for everyday circulation, San Francisco's Mint often focuses on limited production runs, especially for proof and collector's sets. The 2018 state quarters with an S mint mark were typically part of these collector-oriented releases, meaning fewer were made compared to the P and D counterparts. Now, here's where things get interesting. Though most quarters circulate widely and undergo wear and tear, a pristine 2018 quarter with an S mint mark is a rare find. Collectors prize coins in mint condition, those that appear as fresh as the day they were struck, with no scratches, dings, or signs of handling. When such a coin is professionally graded as Mint State 65 or higher, it becomes a coveted piece in collections worldwide. But rarity and condition aren't the only things that drive value. Occasionally, during the minting process, unique errors occur. These errors might be minor, like a slight doubling of letters, or more obvious, such as off-center strikes or missing elements. Error coins are often considered one-of-a-kind and can multiply a coin's value exponentially. In the case of 2018 quarters, some specimens show slight variations or die anomalies, making them even more special for collectors hunting for that rare gem. One of the most exciting parts of coin collecting is discovering that perfect coin, perhaps in a roll of change, that turns out to be far more valuable than its face value. Imagine pulling out a 2018 state quarter with an S mint mark from your collection, noticing its brilliant shine, sharp details, and flawless surfaces. Sending it for professional grading could reveal it to be an MS-67 or MS-68, which are grades considered near perfect. Such coins have garnered immense attention in recent years. Auctions featuring these high-grade 2018 quarters have seen passionate bidding wars among collectors and investors alike. The scarcity of these top-condition S mint mark quarters, combined with collector enthusiasm, has driven prices upward steadily. At one particularly notable auction, a 2018 state quarter with an S mint mark, graded at a high mint state level and exhibiting exceptional eye appeal, was sold for a jaw-dropping amount. The final sale price? $73,700. Yes, you heard that right. $73,700 for a single quarter. It's a testament to how powerful condition, rarity, and the collector's market can be when they come together. What does this mean for everyday coin holders and budding collectors? It means never underestimate the potential value of your coins. The 2018 state quarter with an S mint mark may just be waiting in your piggy bank or coin collection, ready to surprise you. If you want to explore this world further, always handle coins carefully, keep them clean only by proper methods, and consider professional grading services to authenticate and preserve your coin's condition. This journey into the 2018 state quarter isn't just about money. It's about connecting with history, artistry, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin holds a story, and sometimes those stories come with extraordinary rewards. Today, we're diving into a truly fascinating chapter of modern American numismatics. We're exploring the United States state quarter dollar from 2020, focusing on those special editions with a mint mark that collectors absolutely adore. This coin might seem like everyday pocket change, but it holds a story, and a value, that many have yet to discover. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this 2020 quarter could be one of the most exciting coins to own, and just how much it could be worth. 2020 was a landmark year in many ways, and the U.S. Mint's production of quarters was no exception. The America the Beautiful Quarters program was winding down after over a decade of celebrating national parks and historic sites, and the 2020 releases were among the last in this beloved series. The designs for that year showcased stunning sites: the National Park of American Samoa, Ware Farm National Historic Site in Connecticut, Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Marsh-Billings Rockefeller National Historical Park in Vermont, and Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve in Kansas. Each of these quarters isn't just a piece of currency, they're tiny, detailed tributes to America's rich heritage, culture, and breathtaking landscapes. But what makes the 2020 quarters particularly special for collectors is not just the imagery, but the mint mark stamped on them. The mint mark is a small letter on the coin that tells you which U.S. mint facility produced it. The three primary mints are Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. While the Philadelphia and Denver mints primarily churn out quarters for general circulation, the San Francisco mint typically produces limited edition quarters aimed at collectors. The S mint mark is particularly coveted because these quarters were made in smaller quantities and generally feature sharper details and higher quality strikes. This limited mintage, combined with the fact that 2020 quarters were among the last of the America the Beautiful series, makes the S mint mark 2020 state quarters especially rare and desirable. Now, rarity is only one part of the equation. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. Coins that are crisp, unblemished, and free from wear command far higher prices than those that have been tossed around in circulation. Grading companies like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, assign grades to coins, with MS 65 and above, mint state, being considered high quality. The closer to MS 70, the more perfect the coin. A 2020 state quarter with an S mint mark in near perfect condition, think MS 67, MS 68, or higher, is a serious find. Collectors chase these coins because the mint produced relatively few in this pristine state, especially as the series neared its conclusion, but what makes things even more exciting for coin hunters are the minting errors and variations that occasionally slip through quality control. These can include double dies, off-center strikes, or slight imperfections in the die that create unique patterns on the coin. Error coins are incredibly rare and are considered prized collectibles because no two are exactly alike. If a 2020 quarter with an S mint mark displays one of these errors, its value can skyrocket beyond typical collector interest. Imagine finding a 2020 quarter with a mint mark that isn't just rare but also flawless and possibly error-affected. The perfect storm for a coin worth far more than its 25-cent face value. Auctions in recent years have reflected this growing demand. High-grade 2020 quarters with the coveted S mint mark have sold for thousands of dollars, sometimes fetching prices that many would find astonishing for a coin minted just a few years ago. One notable sale involved a 2020 state quarter with the S mint mark, graded MS 68 and displaying exceptional luster and sharp detail. This coin became the highlight of its auction, drawing bids from collectors around the world, and eventually sold for an eye-popping $92,400. This remarkable figure isn't just a number, it's proof of how numismatic interest and careful preservation can transform a modern quarter into a valuable collectible. So, what does this mean for you? It's a reminder to always pay attention to the details on your coins, especially those from limited runs or with special mint marks. The 2020 state quarter with an S mint mark might be sitting in your drawer or collection, waiting to surprise you with its hidden worth. If you're interested in collecting, it's worth investing in proper storage and considering professional grading services to protect and verify your coin's condition. The payoff can be huge, both financially and in the joy of owning a piece of history. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the 2020 United States state quarter dollar. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, their fascinating stories, and how to spot potential treasures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We have many more exciting numismatic adventures ahead. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your collections growing, and your passion for history alive, because sometimes, the smallest coins hold the biggest surprises.